Hello guys, DasMod product updates weekly here for you. Today I would like to talk more about DasMod cables. I know, maybe some of you are already sick of the subject, but honestly I have a lot of fun designing new styles and trying this color and that color, so it's a kind of interesting process, and I would like to see some feedback from you. Does it make sense, or it's all just a waste of energy? So, few things I would like to show you today. First, I designed two new type of cables. I don't know if they already exist, but I swear I just come up with that idea on my own, and just because I have a problem when I build my computers on my own. So I said, okay, how I deal with this. And coming out those two situations, I designed two type of cables just as myself. The cable number one is very simple thing, is a power cable with Molex connection and tachometer cable on one side and 3-pin fan connector on other side. So what happens when you get, let's say, pump. I have one here. Here we have a pump. So, and if it comes with standard Molex power and absolute separate cable for the RPMs. So the question is how you deal with this if you want to connect it to your fan control, for example, right? So I said, okay, maybe I need some sort of convergence cable that allows to do that. And that's the whole idea. So I can connect two cables together from the pump, or let's say Gentle Typhoon fans coming with the same type of setup. I don't know for what reason, the rating not very high, but they do like this. And here you go, I have my cable that can directly connect to motherboard or fan controller. There's only one word of caution. In some situations, this kind of setup, like you can see on this fan, is done on purpose. Because if you have some crazy fans like Sun Aces 6000 RPMs with 4 amps rated power, you try to connect this kind of cable, two things may happen. One, it will melt and potentially catch fire. Second, you'll burn your controller or motherboard. So this is, I think, cool thing, but you need to use common sense and watch power ratings when you use it. Okay? This cable number one. Cable number two I designed is Y cable fan, Y cable for water coolers. And what I did is, you know, you have your radiator, you have a bunch of fans coming with, so everybody wants to use some sort of Y cable, so you connect two fans together and you power it from one source, maybe even more. Some people try to connect 3 or 4 fans if your power source allows that. But one thing that drives me crazy is that you have Y cable, right? Something like this. Then you have one connection goes far and one connection goes close. So what's happening? One of the cables have this stupid loop, and you always have problem with a lot of cables going on in your case, and you just create additional clutter. So when I was working on my orange build, I thought, oh my god, why people don't make a cable with the same spacing as a radiator? Right? Simple. So what I did, I create Y cable and one arm is longer. So the whole idea, so the one arm goes to one fan on a rod, and this shorter cable, 15mm shorter cable, goes to the other fan. In this case, that's exactly the distance how fans spaced on the radiator. So you have nice straight connection, a little bit less clutter. It's a little stuff, but you know, if you're picky about things, you have some obsession about cleanness, you know, I hate loops and in the tubing, and so compulsive obsessive issues, and this one will address that. And that's two cables that like totally like new kind of design. And another cable that I did some improvement for my own sake is a power cable for SATA devices. So typically what's happening, you have this type of cable, so you can, from one connection, you can connect like 2-3 devices together, right? But what drives me crazy is that usually this part that goes to Molex is, they give you like, I don't know, 15 centimeters, 20 centimeters maybe, and it's always not enough. In many cases I couldn't even put it behind motherboard because it's so short. And with big cases it's a big issue. So I said, hell it, I'll go crazy and I will do half a meter extension for actual Molex portion of the cable. I think in this way you can, you know, reach your power supply source without ease and don't have an actual connector showing in the places when you don't want to do. So I have a bunch of those, split 2, split 3 and split 4. Depends how many devices you need to connect in this situation, and all of them has 50 centimeter cable to the first connection, and after that you add 7 centimeters more with every next connector. So that's this kind of designs coming in my head when I actually do my own builds. And the last thing I would like to mention today is fat cables. Apparently it's a big deal in Europe. North America, everybody using pretty much exact size of sleeving on cable, and like this example of the cable from my orange build. So I have a cable which is 18 AVG and has 2 mm sleeving in it, everything perfectly tight. And what I think, I guess, people maybe don't like on the other side of the pond, then when you look on that cable flat, you can see there's a little bit spacing between cables. You can see through. Very minimal, but it's there. So what people do in Europe, as I was told by my manufacturer, they use oversized sleeving. So the same thing, but you have 4 mm sleeve on AVG cable, and you can see that almost nothing can be seen through. So cable look similar to standard one, but it's like, feels like it's more wires in it. So I did a few samples just for sake of it, black, carbon, and GPUs. GPUs actually looks pretty cool because cable looks so fat, unusually fat I would say, and coming out of the GPU you feel like you have so much power going into it, so it's kind of cool. Well, not everything is easy. The downside of those cables, because the sleeving is too fat, you can't grab on the wire properly. So if you're not careful, it's very easy to pull sleeving out of the heat shrink. It's just because in not proper size you can't grip it hard enough. So the only thing that grips sleeving on the heat shrink, actual heat shrink itself, but doesn't press against the wire, which gives you additional friction. So if you will decide to try this kind of cables, then make sure you hold either connector or heat shrink. Never try to pull cable on a sleeving part. You will pull it off, and it's a little bit difficult to put it back. It's still possible, but not that good. Alright, that's what I'm going crazy about cables again. I have a couple other ideas. Hopefully you will find this useful, and give me your feedback.